Hi, and welcome again to Over the Hill Outdoors. This is the second half of my video on the finer points of bow drill fire making. I encourage you to watch part 1 first if you haven't already done so. It covers the selection of materials and their preparation for successful bow drill fire making. In this part 2 video, I'll focus exclusively on technique. I'm going to begin by showing the creation of an ember from beginning to end without narration and without interruption. Now I'll repeat the process, this time stopping the video at critical points to describe what I'm doing. Okay, begin by clearing away all obstacles that the bow might hit or any debris that it might drag onto the ember. Then place the drill in the bow. I do this by standing my bow up vertically, pushing down on the top and to create some slack in the string, and then I can just wrap that string around the drill without any trouble. Kneel down on your right knee. Then place the baseboard with the ember catcher underneath your drill hole. Put your left foot on the baseboard with your toes as close as possible to the drill. I prefer to do this either barefoot or stocking footed rather than in my boots, just because I think it gives me a better grip on the baseboard. It's important that you not let that baseboard wobble when you're moving the bow back and forth, or you're going to break your chardust cone and break up the ember. All right, now place the drill top in the socket and stabilize it with your fingers. The tips of your fingers kind of extended around on either side of the socket. Put your chest on your left knee. Wrap your left arm around your knee and your shin so that you have basically your bicep is on your thigh, your forearm and your wrist are on your shin, and your chest is leaning on your knee. Arm support is absolutely critical if you're going to be able to hold that drill. When you start moving the bow, that drill is going to go back and forth and wobble all over the place if you don't have good support against your shin. Remember to lean forward so that your head is directly over the fireboard. This will also help you to keep the drill a little bit more vertical. And then I put either a couple of fingers or my thumb on the bowstring, fingers of my right hand, so that I can adjust the tension of the string and or control the string's position on the drill when it starts to climb or to drop. It makes a big difference. Now you're ready to go. So you'll start out with some very slow strokes, just kind of getting into the rhythm, and gradually increase the speed, maintaining light downward pressure with your left hand on the drill itself until some smoke appears. Then continue to increase the pressure and the speed as much as you can, but not so much that the string slips. If the string slips, back off on the pressure, the downward pressure a little bit. And then just keep going until you're unable. Your last strokes should be the fastest and the most downward pressure possible. So once you've removed the drill, hopefully there's still some smoke rising from the pile of char dust. So you want to fan that smoke continuously with your one hand and carefully, carefully remove the baseboard. Once the baseboard is removed, then fan that char dust pile with your hand until you see it glow. Now, some people blow on it. I guess that works for some. Your breath is more humid though than just the natural air, and if you have a very weak coal, very weak ember, your breath humidity might be enough to tip it the other way. So I just fan it with my hand. Once I've got visual confirmation that I have a red ember in there, I will carefully set the ember pile into my tinder bundle, fold the tinder around the ember, and then blow air from below the nest, this tinder nest. Remember, smoke goes up, so long, steady breaths out, and then quick inhale. I turn my head on the inhale away from the smoke, and then turn my head back. It's kind of like if you were swimming. You inhale one direction and exhale the other. And if you've done everything right and you've had some luck with you, you're going to have a flame. All right, a couple of other things. If you've done everything right, you get lots of smoke, good char dust pile, but the smoke goes out shortly after you quit drilling, and the char dust that you look at appears unusually coarse in texture, then it's a wood issue. You want to just try a different piece of wood entirely for the drill and or the baseboard, either from the same wood species or a new one. Just don't waste your energy or your time by trying more than twice on the same setup if a smoking pile of char dust just doesn't go. Another thing, normally the bow drill is a one-person operation, but if you aren't quite strong enough to do it alone, or you're exhausted from your earlier tries, you can increase your success with a second or even a third person. When I've taught young scouts, for example, to do this, I usually have them do it in teams of 2 or 3. If there's 2 of them, I have one boy hold the drill and one end of the bow, just as if he was doing it all by himself, and then the other boy holds the other end of the bow with both hands. And then they work the bow back and forth, just like 2 guys using an old-fashioned crosscut saw. If I have a team of 3, then I'll have one boy hold the drill, usually with 2 hands, one arm wrapped around his shin, and then the other 2 will work the bow in that crosscut saw method. It takes practice to coordinate, with more than one person, but it can help overcome the problem of lack of strength. I've enjoyed putting together this 2-part video on bow drill fires, and I hope you find it helpful. I've posted it primarily for beginners, but whether you're a beginner or highly experienced, there's always more that can be learned. I know I'm always looking for improvements, and I'm sure there are ways and materials out there that could work even better than what I've shown you. So when you find them, I hope you'll share. I made my first bow drill fire nearly 40 years ago, and I can still remember the wonder and the huge sense of accomplishment I felt that day. And it's still a thrill, no matter how many times I do it, to see that tiny ember come to life. So may your wood always be dry, and your bowstring never break. Good luck.